conversation on Palestine. Would you like to elaborate how you have used your platform to educate the public on Palestine and amplify Palestinian voices, please?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be with you all. I'd like to start off by thanking all the organizers for providing us with this platform to speak about Palestine. I understand everything happened so quickly, and they're able to do it all and do it very well, so thank you for that. To answer your questions, how do I raise awareness about Palestine using my platform? In my videos, if anyone has watched them, and if not, I suggest you do, I usually raise awareness about Islam and politics using comedy. So when it comes to Palestine, I try to do the same thing. I use comedy or comedy skits in some ways, amongst many other things, to educate people about the current situation, the history of Palestine, pretty much anything and everything that can help them understand what is happening. And I try to do it in a manner that keeps it somewhat entertaining in order for it to engage the audience, to make sure that they stay watching, to make sure that they want to learn about what is this oppression that Palestinians continue to go through. Just now, we just heard a great speech about the Nakba and how it started and its catastrophic outcome. I would like to ask the audience, just a rhetorical question, how many of you here are Palestinians? For those who are, how many were born in Palestine? How many have been to Palestine? I can tell you, speaking for myself, not me. This is proof of the continuation of the Nakba till this day, where there's almost 7 million Palestinian refugees. This isn't something that just happened in the past and it's done. No. This is something that continues to happen and impact the lives of everyone till this day, Palestinians inside of Palestine and out. So the world is asking, what's happening now? Why all this violence? Why now? Well, as Palestinians, we can all tell you, nothing that is happening now is new. This has all been happening throughout our lives, and even before our lifetimes for the younger folks. I'm not calling anyone old or anything. But now, it's simply being documented. Now it's being shared on social media. Of course, until Instagram and Facebook start censoring posts, videos, and hashtags, as they normally do, unfortunately. So now, a lot of everything is happening at once. So here's a quick recap of the events just in 2021 leading up to this. In April of this year, not that long ago, a few months, a far-right Israeli group took the streets of Jerusalem chanting "Death to Arabs." Of course, the media didn't care about that. Then, Israel also started bombing Gaza again for the first few days in Ramadan. But there's media silence. Then Palestinians confronted these far-right groups, where, of course, the Israeli police decided to punish Palestinians for daring to stand up. How do they punish them, you may ask? Well, they closed off the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is currently, by the way, occupied illegally by Israeli forces, but that's a story for another day. And they did all of this during the month of Ramadan. And for anyone who knows anything about the month of Ramadan, Muslims tend to pray a lot in the month of Ramadan. And especially if you're in Jerusalem, you're going to pray in Masjid al-Aqsa, the Al-Aqsa Mosque. So that was closed down for them. Again, the media didn't care. Around the same time, Israel continued to forcefully evict and steal land and homes from Palestinians in East Jerusalem, specifically in Sheikh Jarrah. And they're giving these lands, these homes, they're stealing them from their indigenous inhabitants, the Palestinians, and they're giving them to Israeli settlers who are brought in from all over the world as part of their ethnic cleansing agenda. At this point, The Palestinians had it up to here for a long time, honestly. And they took to the streets protesting. Still, media silence. Still, nothing. So, Israeli police, in case you don't know, they don't like it when Palestinians demand to be treated like human beings. So the police started beating up protesters, shooting them with rubber-coated steel bullets, hitting them with tear gas, mainly aiming for people's faces, as the evidence shows. Again, media silence. Then, after all of this, Hamas dares ask the Israeli government to withdraw their troops, stop this crackdown on protesters. Still, media silence. So Israel does another raid on worshippers in Al-Aqsa Mosque, and then Hamas fired rockets towards Israel. Now, the media pays attention. Now, the clock begins. Now, we see headlines. Hamas attacks Israel. Israel has a right to defend itself. Now, the world is paying attention. Only this time, they're paying attention to the wrong thing because they start the clock on their own time. With all of this happening, what do we do? What can we do as people who care, yet we live so far away? To be honest, actually, I think we're in the best position to do something. I get a lot of people sending me messages saying, what can we do? There's nothing we can do. When actually, there's more we can do than Palestinians in Palestine. Because when Palestinians speak up in Palestine, they will be targeted and they will get harmed. And yes, some Palestinians who live in the West, in Canada, in the States, elsewhere, when they speak up, they will get messages from Israelis threatening them and their families who are back in Palestine. But for the most of us, sharing this news, raising awareness about this, it does not hold any threat to our physical well-being. So that's what we need to do. Raise awareness, share this, let people know what is happening. I end with this. Dr. Norman Finkelstein. I assume most people here know who he is. And for those who don't know, he's a Jewish American professor and political activist. Both his parents were survivors of the Holocaust, and he's a strong supporter of Palestine. He visited Halifax many years ago, and he talked about Palestine, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing this, he said, when I was told that I'm being invited to Halifax to speak, I thought I'd be in a room with 10 people, at most. Spoiler alert, for anyone who was there was approximately 200 people in that auditorium. All the seats were taken and people were standing on the sides. He said, this is why the Palestinian cause will never die. So I would like to reiterate these words, and I would like to say to everyone here in attendance, you are the reason that Palestine will never die. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please excuse us for delay. For courtesy, we mute ourselves.